Thinking about thinking. Most of us think of ourselves as irrational people when it comes to making decisions. We investigate a bit, strive to be objective, and come to a conclusion. But the fact is that we don't think very much about thinking. We remain unaware of the brain's functions, even as it yields results to us. This is from the book Strategic Thinking Skills by Professor Stanley Wrigley. Welcome to Monday Leadership Kickstart message. Today I want to talk to you about the strategic thinking, and specifically, does planning can succeed, as we all expect, without strategic thinking? I observed quite a lot of organizations are having, especially in today's world, the corporate strategy. And that's the basic fundamental drive for development of the way how we are thinking, the way how we are planning. But from the other hand, I see quite a lot that those two, thinking, planning, are not actually aligned. The basics of thinking is anchored with the way how we grew up, the processes of behaviors, the habits, the way how we are performing famous should. This is how it should be done. Quite little, as Professor Wrigley has said, we do not think about thinking. When we are diving into strategic thinking, we again quite often are driven by the emotional thinking. Have a look on the process of compiling the team for the new project, whom we are inviting. Most of the time, we are inviting people with whom we get used to work because we like them, because we know how they work, and so on. But we are not diving into the strategic awareness whom actually we need to that project. Thinking is the one process, but when we are getting into the organizational construct, the strategic thinking will need a bit more. And this is the conceptual knowledge. We are having our baseline for the conceptual knowledge, which is shaped by the sociological environment, how we were growing up, what kind of knowledge we have received during that teenagerhood, let's say, how certain perceptions have been shaped in our minds, and not rare, we are repeating those perspectives based on how our parents are perceiving the world. Then we go to the university, and there also we are copying, pasting certain opinions from our professors. So we spoke already about that. I think on the self-leadership series, this is the vertical process of thinking. And the strategic thinking is quite a long way to go, because we need to activate the second part of the conceptual knowledge. When we are entering organizations, new organization, we quite often know very little about them. We are dropped immediately to the department, we are meeting our teammates, but how quite often we are going through the cross-learning about the departments, about meeting other people. Yes, these kind of elements are happening on the high level of management. We will be meeting the director from the operations, we will be meeting the director of IT, and so on and so on. But how many people are there and how many people we are having actually who are doing the work, who are delivering strategy? My practice was, even if you are a document controller, I was immediately making sure that this person is meeting even directors, other team members, so they do not only know from me a dry structure, how the organization is shaped, but they are meeting them in life and having sometimes 15 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, or even longer meeting to get to know each other and definitely to introduce themselves, not only from the name, but why they are joining the team and what kind of function the other team is having within the organizational ecosystem. If we don't do this step, we are limiting the opportunity to develop our strategic thinking into the process when we are shaping the planning. Because it's very easy with my knowledge. Okay, I am creating the vision, then I'm creating the plan. This is how I want to be. But hey, are you planning to do it on your own? Of course not. So if I don't know with whom I am working in terms of what kind of department are there, what kind of function they are planning, and what kind of already scope of knowledge they do have, I am not able to invite them to help me to shape that vision and deliver the action plan. Is it good if I am choosing people whom I know? No, because this is the emotional thinking. I need strategic thinking. You will say, but I don't like this guy from that department. This team is strange. Hello, wake up. That's the emotional process of thinking. And that way of thinking will not lead you too far. You will silo yourself, you will create this kind of cage for yourself, and yeah, you can create some results, but this is another thing. Most of the organization actually, despite they are creating this much reports, big dashboards of KPIs and goals and enablers and objectives and so on, they still achieve around 50% of their annual goals. So planning without strategic thinking, and sometimes it means we need to go out of our comfortable zone. It will roll the car, no doubts about that. But what is the cost of the lower speed? Quite huge. And on top of that, disengaged employees. 3 ways how you can activate process of thinking towards your strategic alignment. Definitely make sure that all your team members know the strategy. It's so often, unfortunately, employees do not have awareness about the strategy. And that's the failure. How you want to drive the organizational progress if your people do not know the strategy? I do not go into the room of, do you know your mission? Do you know your vision? Because knowing, memorizing that is one thing, but interpreting that into the vision is another thing. But aligning and making sure your team knows the strategy and you are actually bringing the strategic terminologies into your daily communication, it's just phenomenal. So that's the process of number 1. Bringing the strategic goals. Some people are calling that enablers. These are the 5 big goals that they are stated in the book. And then you are having, okay, what are the functions of my department and how actually my functions are aligned with those organizational strategic goals? If not yet, then immediately, the middle of the year, it's a great time to rewire everything, to make sure that you can bring the new boom, new mindset and refreshed perspective on it. And step number 3 that you can activate with your team. Sit down with every single member and let them bring their own objectives that you are using for their performance review and say, okay, guys, we do have these strategic organizational goals. These are our functions. Can we just do the brainstorming how your objectives are aligned with those? Do this kind of mapping. Let everyone do this mapping on the A3 papers. It's a great fun, a great team building exercise. No doubts, trust me on this. You will engage your team. You will definitely clear the cloud to see better vision and what's your leader role in that game. Have a wonderful Monday, great start into the new week, and don't forget, engage with your team, pay attention to your people, and stay inspired to bring the light to their growth. See you next week.